If you love your customers, you have to try RingCentral. No matter the size of your business, every call, every text, every meeting, every customer conversation matters. With RingCentral, you get a reliable business phone, a modern contact center, and built-in AI across every conversation. So you can focus on the moments that matter. See for yourself at ringcentral.com.
RingCentral. Intelligent communications you can trust.
Brews and Banter.
All right, Frank, at the location again. And we are with Derek. Derek, introduce yourself. Tell us where we are.
Yeah. I'm Derek Grout. I'm here at Harvest Spirits, I guess, where I was born and raised on Golden Harvest Farms. This apple farm is in the Hudson Valley, and it's about 150 acres of apple trees on this side of Route 9, and on the other side we got another 100 acres. And we're in here in the heart of the farm, or the soul of the farm. This is the distillery where everybody at the farm comes and congregates for hard ciders after work and cocktails after work.
Always after work.
Always after work.
Yeah.
And that's what we're drinking now, hard cider you made, right?
Yeah.
Tell us what this is.
So hard cider, this particular hard cider is a one-off. It's a hard cider that we made with black raspberries.
Oh.
So if you want to taste it, it's about 5% alcohol. We didn't add any sweetener to it, and it's very dry and has real black raspberries in it. It's kind of a funny story if you want to.
Cheers first.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
So the black raspberries, for years, when we distill our vodka with black raspberries, for years, when we were done distilling with the black raspberries in the pot, it'd get thrown away. But this past year, we saved some of that liquid that was in the pot, which is basically water, black raspberries, because the alcohol's been cooked off during the distillation process. We, instead of dumping the whole stuff, we saved several buckets of it and realized, hey, it's tastes pretty good. It's non-alcoholic. It tastes like just raspberry juice, black raspberry juice. And it's high in antioxidants, and it makes a nice dark color and raspberry flavor to the cider. So I think what we're going to be doing from now on out is saving this black raspberry juice that we used to throw away and save it and use, not and sell it and save it, use it for hard cider, because I think for 10 years we've been throwing this product away, and I realize now it has value, you know?
Well, it tastes like it's got some good bad.
Somebody's going to hear this and they'll be like, what are you doing for 10 years?
Yeah.
Throwing stuff down the drain. Yeah.
But I want to ask you a little bit the history. This is rich in history. It's been how many years?
This is now, we started in 2000. The concept started in 2005. We opened our doors in 2008.
But the land.
The land, we started farming here in the 50s. My grandfather started farming here in the 50s. But before that, it was always in apple production since we could find records to the late 1800s of trees being here. In this particular farm here where we are, this was actually a New York's first low-level working penitentiary for women. It was a women's only working penitentiary, and it was started in the Enlightenment movement in the 1910s. And the two buildings still remain on State Farm Road out there, and the road is called State Farm Road because it was called the State Farm. But it eventually turned into, so there was always trees here, but eventually it turned into Golden Harvest Farms, what we know it today as a 250-acre apple farm.
And that name started, what year was that?
That was started in about 1956, 57. Wow. My grandparents moved up from Queens, New York, after World War II, working on another apple farm, and somehow, with their family savings, purchased a very small plot here on Route 9 and grew. So when I moved here with my older brothers and my parents, I was 2 years old. That was 1974. And there's 5 of us in our family, and 3 of us help run the business directly. And 4 of us live here in the area. So it's great out of the 5 of us.
It's good.
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah. But we all help out. My one brother who's a musician comes and plays on Friday nights and helps arrange the music and entertainment. And my other brother helps run the smokehouse. And the smokehouse here on the farm, it's that smokehouse restaurant. People can eat their barbecue in the distillery. And they also, it's symbiotic relationship.
Which, by the way, you can smell miles away.
Yeah. Yeah.
It draws you in.
Yeah.
So yeah, we could talk about that a little bit. You've got more than just a distillery.
Yeah.
You've obviously got the smokehouse.
Yeah.
You've got a little market here.
It's grown a little bit. So yeah, originally it was just this seasonal market that the road stand, as we called it, was only open seasonally during apple season. And then after Christmas, it kind of pack up and it was kind of dead for the rest of the year until it's just and then it kind of grew into an all season, all year farm market selling apples. And we put the bakery in and became famous for our apple cider donuts. So, and it was only right after COVID, during COVID, where we put the smokehouse in, and that was a huge. Between then there was the distillery. The distillery came in the 2008 when it came online, and then the smokehouse just during COVID. So there's a lot to do at the farm, to eat, to drink, to shop. Unfortunately, we don't have pick your own apples anymore here. So it's not, there's other farms in the area that do that.
But then they just buy it here at the market.
They can't resist our cider donuts. So even though they might go to other farms to pick their own apples, they still come back here to get the donuts.
It's truly a treat that you cannot miss if you're driving by. Please stop and try. These donuts fall apart in your hand before you even put them out.
Yeah. I should have some here. I could bring.
We'll get them.
We'll get it. We'll get it. And people will see how delicious they are.
Yeah.
But I've met you a while back.
Yeah.
Before the distillery was even up and running.
Yeah.
And I met you here for the first time.
In this building?
In this facility.
Yeah.
You've seen it change from its very humble beginnings to what it is.
There's a cool history about this distillery. That's the apparatus behind us.
Yeah.
And how it all came together. So tell us about this piece.
Well, this is a German still that we bought new in Germany and had to put it together here. And it took a long time after we sent the money away for it actually to get on a ship and come back over here. And so we had a lot of anticipation to get this piece in here. We really wanted to get up and running. And when we got it, it came in, a bunch of different parts, all shrink wrapped, all shiny copper. And but it didn't come with any directions. It didn't. It had literally a bunch of tags that some of which you'll still see on the back of the machine. A lot of tags that had corresponding tags. So an 11 to an 11, 13 to a 13. And they had this assembled in Germany and took pictures of the two tags where it was where the tags were located on the apparatus, and sent us about 100 digital pictures corresponding to each tag. No written directions.
Wow.
And in hindsight, it was kind of brilliant because they don't really need to explain in German what the technical word in English for this is. You just need to know where it is, what it is, and where it goes.
Yeah.
But then you pressurize it and you're like,
yeah. There we go. It took a long time to set it up, and then it also took a long time to get our license, because we had to change the laws in New York State to allow farm distilling. Before, we were one of the first handful of farm distilleries by passing the Class D farm law in New York State to allow direct sales to consumer of spirits in the distillery and do tastings in the distillery. This was revolutionary back in 2007 when that law was written. We really lobbied for it.
I was going to ask, were you part of the movement, like trying to get it passed?
So we lobbied with Farm Bureau, and let's see if you can shut that.
Do?
No.
Okay.
Is he still?
That's all good.
Yeah. Thank you.
it's operation.
Yeah, it's an operation.
Yeah.
So we lobbied with Farm Bureau. Farm Bureau was really instrumental in getting a handful of farmers together to go to Albany and say, this is going to be good for agriculture in New York State if you allow farm distilling. It's going to, and tourism's going to win, farmers are going to win. It's going to strengthen the state. So we were the first group back in 2008 to get this license, and now there's probably, it's hard to tell. There's probably somewhere between 150 and 180 licensed distillers in New York State.
Okay.
And up and running?
Up and running or planned, or approved. I mean, I would say there is at least one in every county. In this county alone, there's 6. And we're in really good company because these are some of these guys are just fantastic distillers. It feels kind of like sometimes we're in the golden age of drinking, if you want to put it that way. But we're in a wonderful time to be tasting a variety of high quality products where just 20 years ago you didn't have that option. There variety. There's ciders now. There's ciders with different varieties of apples, and there weren't no homemade black raspberry hard ciders around. But this all comes with having good laws. And I think that's the foundation is those laws being changed and continue to change. And we could talk about that, the latest law to be changed, the direct-to-consumer law.
Well, let's jump into that.
Yeah. So the direct-to-consumer law, what that means is for the first time, distillers in New York State will be able to sell and ship their products directly to the consumer. Before, we could just sell it to them in person and at farmers markets and at county fairs. But now we can actually ship it through UPS, FedEx, to people's doors, get with a 21-year-old signature, verified, and that is completely legal. So before, you could do it with wine.
You could do it with beer too, right?
You could do it with beer, but you couldn't do it with hard cider, strangely, and you couldn't do it with spirits. So the spirits producers and the hard cider producers kind of teamed up and said, look, it's going to be good for New York State if we help the distillers, these struggling distillers, get their product across this vast state. Because let's face it, New York is a vast state with tens of millions of people in it. But it's not, if the market is not accessible to you, if you have to go through a licensed liquor store to get your product to Syracuse or Rochester or Buffalo, the liquor store can't possibly carry the products of 180 different distillers, right? Market aside, even if I'm happy to pay the markup, but the liquor store just can't possibly have your liquor store can't possibly just have one bottle for that one person. It doesn't make any sense on that level. Right. But for us, we can develop relationships with customers in New York State that are nowhere physically near us, out on Long Island, out in Buffalo, up in the North Country. And that would encourage us to invest some money in hiring people to do some marketing, fulfillment of those orders.
Right.
And so I think there would be a big benefit to New York State by breaking down the barriers to this market.
And that's not even taking business away from the liquor stores. It's just something they just can't.
That's correct.
Handle the flow. So
That's correct to emphasize. It's not hurting the liquor stores in any way to allow online sales. So right now, you could buy wine online and you can buy wine at your liquor store. The amount of wine that people buy online in New York State represents 9%. Liquor stores, that's 92%. So I wouldn't say that since online wine has become a thing over the past 20 years, it's hurt liquor stores tremendously. Probably not. Most people are buying wine from their liquor stores currently. And I think the same thing with spirits. If you're used to getting your Tito's, you're going to continue to go buy it from your local liquor store, not from an online Costco. You're going to go to the local liquor store for your Tito's. But if you're looking for the specialty craft product that's across the state, it's not going to hurt the liquor store by you making that transaction.
So this new law only allows to ship within New York State.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, not over.
Well, it's New York State and 8 other territories and states. So somehow the way I understood the press release from the State Liquor Authority, and I should know this better, but we'll also be allowed to ship directly to Alaska, Hawaii, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, and like 2 other weird states like Rhode Island and, North Carolina. So it's only 8 other states and territories, but it's not really as important as New York State. I mean, the fact that we could ship to New York City direct alone, that's the customers, we could just direct we could geolocate the online marketing of Core Vodka or at Cornelius Applejack to those people who we might think buy it, or give them a coupon to do that online sale. It just opens up a huge, I don't want to say it opens up a market, it breaks down the barriers to the market, to the demand that is already there.
And not just for you. This is for
all craft spirits in New York State.
Yeah. All right, Derek. So the name Cornelius, tell us the history, like how you came up with that name.
Well, our original product is Core Vodka, and Core has double meaning. It's, of course, apple core, but also it's the middle part of the distillation. So it's the heads, hearts, and tails, and we're taking the hearts. That's the core of the distillation, so that's the double meaning. But I didn't want to call it Core Applejack. I thought that kind of was maybe Cornelius. Maybe that sounded a little bit better. And also, why don't we name the next product after the person who actually is pressing the cider? So Cornelius Murray is the Jamaican worker who has pressed our apple cider since I was a kid. He's actually in his 70s, but you wouldn't believe it if you see him, because he's still just such a fit worker. But I wanted to honor him for his humble hard work here on the farm. And so that's the least I could do, say thank you for what you've done over these years. What an honor to so that's why I named it after him and Cornelius. But it fit well with Core. It just it sounded right. And believe it or not, there's a lot of people that buy the product because, I've got an uncle named Cornelius, or my great grandfather is Cornelius.
It's a very common name. So it's nice to have it.
It's just. So that's, we also have named our whiskey after another farm worker, John Henry. So the John Henry whiskey is named after somebody who's worked here since I was a kid, even before Cornelius, a year before Cornelius got here. So I wanted to really honor those guys with their own namesake whiskey, Applejack combo.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I have a bottle of John Henry, and I was wondering where did that name come from. So now.
And it's a lot of people think must come from John Henry, the British guy, or John Henry, the Johnny Cash song, the Legend of Johnny Cash, Legend of John Henry. But no, it's named after our Jamaican farm workers here, and the farm. Jamaicans have provided the bulk of labor to harvest apples in the Northeast. Since my grandfather, I think it was in the 50s that the Jamaican Department of Labor and the U.S. Department of Labor started having Jamaicans come up here, and it's been working out for both countries and for generations now. So having these guys who do all the hand picking of the fruit and pressing of the fruit, be able to send bottles of their own namesake whiskey back with them. It's kind of cool.
No, the pride there. And certainly.
And I think for their honor, we should also try it.
We should try it. We should start talking about it.
They've done all this hard work.
All right. Now, you guys are familiar with that Applejack was originally frozen hard cider, right? That's how they were jacking it. They were getting it stronger by freezing it and taking the ice crystals out.
Was that accidental at first? Is that what I read? It was like they discovered the process after it froze, and
I probably I think there's got to be some merit to some accidental way of, hey, this stuff in the barrel is actually stronger than it was in the beginning of the season. This is not done that way. The modern Applejack is not freeze distilled. It's distilled it's double distilled like a brandy. So the difference between Applejack and brandy is that Applejack is a type of brandy that legally can have some grain spirits in it, but doesn't have to have grain spirits. And it's got some subcategories of Applejack called Jersey White Lightning, Bottled in Bond, and we realized when we started distilling back in 2008 that if we took our extra apple vodka, put it in a bourbon barrel, it started taking on this color and flavor of bourbon without really being a bourbon. It was still an apple vodka. So apple vodka that's aged in bourbon barrels is technically Applejack, you know? And how does this differ than an apple brandy? Well, to me, stylistically, Applejack is going to have less flavor than apple brandy, either because you're going to distill it to a more pure form before it's diluted, or you're going to add neutral spirits to it, which is what Laird's is. Mm-hmm. So Laird's, that changes it.
Is this something you discovered, or are you the only one in it that's done
I guess
this way?
Part of it is discovery, but since nobody else in New York else was doing it at the time, I guess I was not only discovering it, but leading or pioneering a certain category. Even though it is a pretty niche category, there was nobody else doing it at the time. So we got to say, okay, this is what I think Applejack should be. And I don't think you should be adding grain spirits to it. I don't think you should be adding caramel color to it. I think you should be making it as a light brandy that people want to buy another bottle of. We actually tell people that it's a brandy that doesn't taste like brandy. It's a brandy that tastes like bourbon. It's a brandy that tastes like rum.
See, they write books about people like Derek.
Yeah.
This is a pioneer and an inventor. But a lot of what you get to do in this industry, you get to just trial and error. Like, oh shit, that's really good.
It's really good. What are we going to do this? And it gets better. It gets better with time. And that's what the difference between these two bottles are. The Reserve is really the same identical thing as this, but it just happens to be sitting in a barrel longer. I don't try to tell customers that, oh, this is way better, and that's why you should pay me more money.
Yeah.
I shed
14 years, 10 to 14 years?
So yeah, this is 13 right now, this release. You got it. Whereas our standard is at least 5-year-old. Yep. The difference to them, between them is subjective. That's why I always ask people to try it for yourself and see, because what should really matter, after you tell the story of the spirit, what should really matter to the consumer is just two things. How does it taste to them? And does it fit their price point? Does it fit their budget? That's the only thing, because, your hard-earned money, you want a good value for it. And you don't want to be going and throwing money away needlessly on somebody who's using self-flattery or some sort of story to convey something. Don't put some fake signature on there if it has no meaning. Yeah. Just tell people what it is and sell it on that two merits. Try it, taste it, explain how it's made. But if the price is right and you can afford it. So the price difference between these two products is this sells for, it's a 750 ml bottle. This sells for $45. And this is our 13-year, and this sells for $80. I think we could be getting a higher price if it were bourbon. In fact, I know we sell the same size bourbon and malt whiskey for $60. Right? Same age, $60. And this is apples, hand-picked, $45. Yeah. And that's really because that's what the market dictates. It's not, you want to say, well, it's a luxury product. You can set the price where you want, but that ignores the fact that there are alternatives to your product. You don't have to drink an Applejack. You could drink a bourbon. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's what we're about, is authenticity. I mean, this is all, we don't do production things with people. We don't go to these, we like the individual owners. They're not corporations, they're not chains, they're not these big things, but this is hand touched by you and your people and your family.
Yeah. With the new direct-to-consumer law, you'll be able to send these directly to people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is
great. I feel very fortunate. You're right. What you're getting at is, being very fortunate to be able to make something that adds value to your family's farm and expresses a certain creativity and uniqueness about your brand and business, all because there's not a lot of people doing this category. That's a very fortunate thing, not to be, trying to make the world's next best IPA, but be here on the farm making forging a new product and a new path of people to enjoy a spirit that is an alternative to the widely consumed bourbons and ryes out there.
Yep.
So while we're talking about the product, just tell us everything you guys sell in the store.
We sell, our best selling is still the core vodka. It's vodka from apples, triple distilled. Of course, the Applejack would be number 2, our 5-year. It's our number 2 seller. We sell a lot of malt whiskey and bourbon whiskey. And the bourbon whiskey now is getting popular, but I concede we purchase that from another local distillery, and then we bottle that. And we're very upfront with our customers that the bourbon is not distilled here on site. The malt is distilled here on site. That's a really popular product. The malt whiskey tastes just like Scotch whiskey, like a Highland or a Speyside. It is distilled twice from local beer, malted beer. So it's a collaboration with the New York State brewer and us to make this whiskey. My favorite product is our gin, our core gin. It's 4 times distilled. It's unlike any other gin I think you'll try because it's made from 100% apples, the alcohol. It's just got this wonderful, wonderful, unique taste. And then we do some pear brandy, which is pear brandy is a crazy thing to make because we don't make a lot of it and we don't make any money doing it. And almost no other distillery makes pear brandy.
We make a lot of people happy drinking.
The people that like pear brandy, they're very happy and I think they'd be very upset if we stopped making the pear brandy. It is not our best seller and I don't want it to be because it's so incredibly hard to make the pear brandy. But we make a delicious pear brandy. Two pear brandies actually.
Is it because the way the fruit itself?
A couple reasons. One, where the Applejack is distilled from apple cider. It's liquid. Whereas the pear brandy is made from the whole crushed pear. So it's like a pear puree, chunky.
Everything.
Seeds, stems, skins, and the flavor of that, the pears are really in the skin. So you want that in there. So when you're fermenting it and distilling it, it's all in the whole fruit form. Also, when you're discharging it, you can't just dump it into your septic system. You have to pump that into a tank and then take that out into the orchard and dump those. It becomes fertilizer, and that's a whole other step. Usually in the winter time, so that's another. Also, pear brandy, you have to, because it's solid, it ferments kind of like a red wine, where it separates, the fruit floats on top and the liquid's on the bottom. And so so as it's fermenting, you have to be punching down your fruit cap into the liquid. And that's a big physical thing we do, a big steel punch down tool. After all said and done, you get half the amount of alcohol. Right.
It's like maple syrup.
Right. And on top of that, the pear brandy has a big heads cut, much bigger than normal. Very hard to determine heads cut, very tricky. And it is just you get less alcohol after all this work than you would have.
Most of the time. So the head's cut, you're talking, that's not anything that people normally drink.
Right. Yeah, so the heads have to be thrown away. Yeah. But the hearts are what you're going to keep. Yeah. And the distiller's job is to determine where that fraction is. Where do you throw the valve between your heads and hearts? And then when do you throw your valve again for your hearts and tails?
Is that determined by specific gravity or some sort of
organoleptically? Is that the word? Is that right? Oh, yeah, no,
that's the next bourbon. We're going.
I don't know. Look at it. It's taste and smell. Yeah. You got to taste it. You have to be experienced. You have to know. You have to be smart enough not to taste early in the heads. You don't need to be tasting it when you can't. If you can't smell it and it smells awful, don't need to taste it. But when you start getting close to where you think you are, you dilute your sample with water. You take it in your mouth. You spit it out. You kind of smack your lips. And if it's good enough in your mouth, then you maybe just get a little bit down your throat. And you just see how that tastes. And then if that tastes okay, then you maybe give it to your coworker to see if they confirm that it's also good.
It's like a poison test. If you die, I don't want it.
That's right. But it's usually me making that decision that this is where we're going to throw there's no harm in being too conservative. You just have a smaller cut. You're going to have more to redistill. So you don't have to have thirds. You could actually have your heads. You could have your headsy hearts that's going to get redistilled. Then you have your hearts you're going to keep. And then you have your tails that you're going to maybe you're unsure of, your tailsy hearts, but then you have your tails, so you can break it into different groups.
You will mash the tailsy hearts and the headsy hearts all in one. You blend them all together.
So that's a good question. Yeah. The true heads we burn, like the first 6 gallons on this system, we're not going to redistill that again. We've tried that before and we don't like what we get. So we use that for our outdoor fire pit on Friday nights, live music, food truck, methanol fire. It's pretty cool. It's good. So we got a nice big methanol fire. And the other thing we do is the headsy hearts. We're going to redistill those at a later batch. Sometimes we get them all together, the headsy hearts, and do that as a headsy hearts batch by itself. Sometimes we'll throw it into the next time we're running a distillation. Yeah. But the tails are easier to work with than heads. Heads are better burnt. But it's incredible. We fill a lobster pot up, a 10-gallon lobster pot up, almost to the rim, right to the rim, with heads, and then with a blowtorch lighted. And instead of going boom like gasoline would, it just creates this beautiful smokeless licking red flame that shoots, that just flickers.
How long does that take?
It would take, for a 10-gallon lobster pot filled up, it'd take about 5 hours to burn down.
Wow.
Yeah. And we have it in a nice
marshmallows over it?
Yeah, we have a nice, safe, custom-built metal fire pit just for this. No, from local Columbia County, New York State welded. Yeah, no, not a copper pot like that. Nothing like that.
Put together a video of that fire.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
And then you also do raspberry vodka?
We do a raspberry vodka. We used to, so where the cocktail garden is now, used to be black raspberries. And we started making black raspberry vodka because of it. And it's just simply black raspberries thrown in the apple vodka, redistilled a 4th time, so it's clean. It's clear. We color it with the original raspberry juice to give it this beautiful purple color that's naturally colored. Otherwise, it would be clear and taste like the raspberry bomb. But we just thought it looks so pretty when you see all the bottles lined up with the range of colors between the cherry, the peach, the black raspberry, the amber color of the Applejack. It's striking. And we always get customers at farmers markets that are just coming over to be, hey, I just love your packaging. I just want to take a picture.
Speaking of packaging, I love the design of bottles, how it kind of like tapers down.
Yeah.
But
it's like a
these
beautiful
are not
woman.
Easy to get.
That's true. These are not easy to get. These are French bottles, and especially during COVID, they've become much harder to get and much more expensive to get than bottles that don't have this exact profile, this tapering profile. If we just get the cylindrical bottles, they're much less expensive. And these French bottles, it's just aesthetically, we really like it. And sometimes we just can't live without having the proper bottle for a product.
Just that slight difference in diameter from the top to the bottom gives it a unique look to it.
It makes a difference. I hate to say it. The actual angle of the bottle makes a difference.
And do you still take empties back?
We still, absolutely.
So if you get these and you have empties, don't throw them in the recycle.
Please don't.
Ship them here.
Yeah. No, always bring your empty bottles back to the distillery.
Hard work they go through to like make the stuff for you guys. Yeah. Just bring it back. Yeah. Bring it back. Ship it back.
Love to see you back. Yeah. We give it a 10% discount if you bring back one bottle.
Even better.
15% discount for 2 or more bottles. Right. So
I have a case in the car.
If you have a case, you still get that 15. Yeah.
Of what, discounts?
Yeah. No.
We've had people literally fly back from Europe with their empty bottle in their suitcase to come and see us again. Like, we knew we were going to come by here and we wanted to bring you your bottle.
Oh, you got to start taking pictures with that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So, you're also artist.
I'm a graphic artist.
Yeah.
Not a fine artist, but a graphic artist. I'll concede. Yeah.
And
so I used to be when I graduated from college, I didn't get a job in my field. I got a job at the local t-shirt design shop, t-shirt shop, screen printer. And even though I had an expensive 4-year degree, my first job coming out of college was a screen printer artist. And I just always loved drawing and what the application of some thoughtful design on packaging or a sign, and how it related. In fact, when I was in middle school, I used to collect liquor bottles, empty liquor bottles, as a hobby.
Started, yeah.
My grandparents were drinkers, and all their friends knew that, little Derek liked to collect empty liquor bottles. So they'd save their liquor bottles and bring them over to my grandparents' house. And so I ended up amassing quite a variety of different liquor bottles. And I never knew that it would someday translate into me opening a distillery and having to create a brand of my own, and what I would bring to the table. So back when we started the distillery, it was that period between 2005 and 2008 where we came up with the name Core Vodka, and the decision to use this bottle and to make the brand language or the typography on the bottle as sparse and simple as possible. And that kind of set in motion this look for the Cornelius Applejack and the John Henry whiskey. It was pretty easy to come up with Core Gin once you had your brand language and your bottle established. I feel bad for some distillers that be like, okay, well, we want our whiskey to look different than our vodka. So they choose a different bottle and a different looking label and maybe a different graphic designer to approach the project. And suddenly it looks like very disparate looking group of products.
The connection too.
Yeah.
Is it related?
I think that's very important. It's not just how the bottle looks by itself, but how it looks in context to the other products lined up next to it, especially at a farmer's market.
And to be recognizable. Like, it could be different, a little bit of different art, but you're like, oh, that's Cornelius.
That's important too. That recognizable, like, oh, I know instantly that's so-and-so distillery because it's got a dog on it, or it's, it's got that font.
I brought up your artistic skills because when people walk into this distillery and you just look up, there's all these beautiful barrels that are
gorgeous.
Thank you.
Etched with amazing artwork.
Yeah.
Some done by your hand.
Yeah. Some are hand done, some are laser done. All of them in some way are hand done. But it started with one barrel. It started by, I went to an old, defunct winery in the lower Hudson Valley, and I saw this huge 6-foot high barrel at the back of this winery with cobwebs all over, and it had something like dremeled or chiseled into the head of the barrel. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea to draw on the barrel heads. And so, it started with just me with a Sharpie doodling one barrel, and then I was like, well, that went okay, and I did another one, but it always took a long time for me to do this because I'm doing it with a Sharpie, hand doing it. Well, I think it was right during COVID, I guess. One of our employees said, I'm pretty good at setting up lasers. You could get a pretty inexpensive laser to make your barrel design faster. So he helped teach me how to put the laser on, set it up. I used my graphic design background to learn the software. And now what I do is I use a laser to burn artwork onto the barrels and use Sharpie and grease pencil to touch them up. And it doesn't take that long. It doesn't take 8 hours to do a barrel. It could take 2 hours, 1 hour.
And the time is more productive. You could be doing something else.
Mm-hmm. And so now we usually do this in the winter time when we do have lots of free time. This time of year, we're in the fall. We're right in our busy harvest season. There's no time to work on barrels. There's just
it's quite a sight when you walk in here, just looking at and it's on your website.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't think the distillery looks like much from the outside. I can't control really what it looks like from the outside. Right, it's a hidden gem, but you can control to a large degree what it looks like on the inside. Yeah. And so that's really where you put the work into aesthetically making it as inviting and warm and interesting to fill the place with Easter eggs and interesting things to catch your eye. So you want to whip out your phone and take a picture of it and be like, hey, look at this, and share that idea.
Before everything was set up, I was here before the whole project was finished. Yeah. But my first time here, when everything was finished, I was like, And you know my background in woodworking, construction, all that stuff. I was just like fascinated. Just you spend 10 minutes just like looking around all the details and all the fun things. You appreciate it.
I mean, it's not a church. It's not a museum. It's a work. It's definitely a working. It's a working
you drink
business.
Like in church too, just different spirit.
But you're immersed. When you come in here, you're immersed in the sights, the smells. Obviously the taste of what you're taking. There's so much to gorge and feast your senses on while you're here for this short period of time in this small little space. I sometimes take it for granted. I'm like, I come in the morning. I really enjoy the peace and quiet, but I sometimes take it for granted. Like I'm getting such a lucky opportunity to make something in a cool space and make it my own and hopefully make it succeed. Hopefully move it forward down the line because I guess there's a lot riding on it now.
Yeah.
It's not just for me. It's for my two boys. It's for Ashley. It's for my partner. It's for my brothers who are also running the farm. It's for my employees, and to also it's to a large extent it's customers that come back, loyal customers that come back, month after month or year after year with their empty bottles to redeem and from Europe, they fly with, and it's for that too. This is where I should be. This is what I should be doing. I should have been doing this all along, but thank God I finally started doing it in the time when I got to start this.
I want to try this one now. Let me get rid of this.
Oh, we have a dump bucket. We also have a floor. You could dump right on the floor because it goes to the angels. You know the angel share?
Yeah.
So you know the angel share, right? So the angel share is the amount of alcohol that evaporates out of the bottle during the lifetime of its aging, right? It's always about 5 to 10% a year based on how.
Well, let me dump it.
Oh, you can dump it. So the angel share is kind of a nod to the angels and the spirits in the distillery who are stealing your alcohol over the time, right? And the share of the amount. So it's literally the gap or the alcohol that's been evaporated. So you can spill the amount of angel share that happens in a typical bourbon distillery on a typical day is probably more than we produce in a year.
Sure.
We are so small. So a few drops here and there. All right. So this is our 13-year-old Applejack. It's called Distiller's Reserve, and it is a single barrel that's unfiltered, and it's unfiltered because we don't want to remove any of the flavor or its original characteristics for clarity. It's in a clarity, this kind of matters when people hold this up to the light. They expect it to be clear, but for clarity's sake, we want all the flavor in there. So non-filtered, occasionally might even have a little chunk of barrel in there, a little piece of burnt charred oak in there. Okay. So how is it going to taste compared to this? That's the big question, right? All right, on first sip. It's almost okay. For me, it's simply this is more expressive of the original spirit, the apple. This is more expressive of the barrel. The fact that it's got a long time to mature. It's obviously smoother. That goes without saying. Of course, 13 years is going to make the same product smoother. We know that. But in what ways? Softer, smoother, rounder. I'd say, all of that. Plus, it's not over oaked, right? It's not. We didn't throw this one and double oak it. We're not trying to over oak this at all. So it's restrained. Right? It's almost like what it doesn't taste like. It doesn't taste scratchy. It doesn't taste harsh. It doesn't taste like some fusel, oily craft spirit of dubious provenance. It is something that you could really give a friend and be pretty confident that.
Yeah, I taste the flavor longer. Like I feel like the flavor stays in my mouth longer.
A long finish.
Yeah, long finish.
A long finish.
Yeah. But certainly more up front than it is with the Applejack.
Yeah.
You taste, and you can even smell it when you're
right.
approaching. Yeah.
Right. And then as it just kind of numbs your tongue as it evaporates, it's not it's not an unpleasant numbing. It's a pleasant numbing as it kind of your tongue kind of comes back to life after that long finish.
So is there like a vanilla flavor to these?
It definitely has vanilla from the barrel, from the oak, from the American white oak. Yep. I think vanillin is what they actually call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I am sophisticated. Well, I'm gonna do it like this. I'm pinky.
Organoleptically. It's delicious.
Organoleptically. I think it's a word. I don't know. I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I don't. Yeah. I'd be pretty straight up.
You ever listen to BrewsNBanter?
I like to listen to Ralphie. Ralphie reviews. He's a Scottish whiskey reviewer, and he's in a man cave somewhere in Scotland reviewing different Scotch whiskeys, and I really like listening to him too. Yeah,
we'll check that out.
Yeah, Ralphie reviews. So this is very flat land here, and it's all agriculture, and it's 250 acres of trees and irrigation ponds.
Okay, so
there's no conservation. There's no conservation area. There's no interesting hills or bluffs, or it is monoculture, all apple trees, about 20 different varieties of apple trees, and very intensively planted, and it's conventionally farmed, so you might not want to be camping on a place that might be occasionally sprayed for pesticides.
They get the next Woodstock here.
But this area, this part of New York State is very pretty, the Hudson Valley, and we're blessed to be in proximity to population centers without being overrun by them. I feel the Long Island, I feel people are kind of just jam packed in there, and you get kind of. They do have productive farms way out on Long Island, but the Hudson Valley is just so much more opportunity to make food, grow food, get it to New York City, get it out to Boston. Unfortunately, our spirits, being spirits, we really only can sell in New York State. We need a distributor in Massachusetts to get our product into Massachusetts.
What is it, 2 hours? We drove here 2 hours.
Yeah, it's
not a bad drive. It's in the car.
Yeah.
Get out of the city. Get out of New York City. Get out of Boston. Come down here.
Support local.
Yeah.
Support your,
absolutely.
Local.
Come upstate to the Hudson Valley. Go out and see Western New York. Go to the Finger Lakes. Go to the North Country. Go out to Chautauqua. There's so much in New York State, and that's what's so great about the direct-to-consumer shipping law that the governor just signed in and the legislature passed, is it opens up this vast state, this vast market to a bunch of craft producers. So hopefully that will strengthen communities that have distilleries there that will be hiring more people and putting a new coat of paint on their distillery and whatnot. Yeah. I think it's going to be good and strengthen the state economically. And New York State has been leading the way and laws for craft beverages. It leads Massachusetts. It leads Pennsylvania, certainly. New Jersey are all looking to what New York State is doing with craft distilling and agritourism, and really following our lead, changing their laws to make them look more like our laws well after we've done it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Derek, thank you for having us over.
Hey, thank you guys for coming. It's been great to be here, to have you.
We're going to spend a little more time here.
All right.
Check out our tour video. We're going to do a tour. Tell people how to.
Absolutely. I invite you to come here to Harvest Spirits. We're open 7 days a week. We're in lovely Valatie, New York. That's in the township of Kinderhook, New York, and that is the county of Columbia in the Hudson Valley. Golden Harvest Farms is the name of the farm. The distillery is Harvest Spirits Distillery. And the best way to find us is go online, harvestspirits.com, or give us a call, 758-1776. We still pick up the phone. We've got a landline. Still pick up, old school.
So, and you're on social media too.
We're on social media too, but certainly stop by. We're right off I-90, just 5 miles, and 2 hours from New York City, 2 hours from Boston, 2 hours from Syracuse, or 2.5. Yeah.
About 2 hours.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Super easy.
If Rome is driving 2 hours.
Super easy to get here. Worth the drive. Friends, family. You're talking in the car. The time flies by.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're here. Yep. And you got cider donuts in your hand.
Yeah. Awesome.
So thank you, everybody. follow us on Brews and Banter, website brewsnbanter.com, Brews and Banter on social media, and catch our podcast on all your podcast streaming services.
If you love your customers, you have to try RingCentral. No matter the size of your business, every call, every text, every meeting, every customer conversation matters. With RingCentral, you get a reliable business phone, a modern contact center, and built-in AI across every conversation. So you can focus on the moments that matter. See for yourself at ringcentral.com.
RingCentral. Intelligent communications you can trust.